When most people hear the word muscle, they think aesthetics. They think bodybuilders, they think vanity, they think that's something for 25-year-olds who have the time to spend 3 hours in a gym and nothing more important to think about. If that's the frame you've been operating with, I want to completely dismantle it today. Because that belief that muscle is only about how you look is quietly costing you more than you actually realize. And before I get into the science of all of it, I want to talk about something that doesn't get addressed enough, which is the mindset shift that has to happen first. Most guys approach health and fitness with one singular goal: looking good, right? Mirror muscle, the body that looks great when you take your shirt off at the beach. And I get it, that's what the industry has sold for decades and even longer. But here's the problem with that frame: you can look good and feel absolutely terrible. You can have a physique that turns heads and still crash at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, still make slower decisions than you did at 35, still wake up exhausted after 7 hours of sleep. Aesthetics alone will never get you what you actually need. The mindset shift is this: stop training for the mirror and start training for your performance. Stop thinking about your body as something that should just look a certain way and start thinking about it as an asset that should function at the highest possible level for the longest possible time. Train for longevity, train for output, train for the version of you that's still sharp, still vital, still operating at full capacity at 60, 70, 80, even 80 years old. And here's what I've seen over and over again with all of the executives that I work with. When you shift that focus, when performance and longevity become the North Star instead of aesthetics, the physique always comes along for the ride anyways, right? Always. Because a body that performs at a high level, a body with a strong muscle tissue and a fast metabolism and optimized hormones, is also a body that looks exactly the way you wanted it to. The two are not separate, but one of them produces the other, and it's not the one most people start with. Your body should be an asset to your success, not just something that looks good but leaves you feeling terrible underneath it. An actual asset, something that makes you sharper, more resilient, more present, more capable of performing at the level that your life demands. That's what muscle actually does when you understand it correctly. Muscle is not a vanity project. It is the single most powerful piece of biological infrastructure that you own. And after 35, you are losing it whether you know it or not. Here's what's actually happening, right? Starting in your mid-30s, your body begins losing muscle tissue at roughly 1% per year, which doesn't sound like much, but compound that over a decade and you're looking at a fundamentally different metabolism, fundamentally different body, different brain than the one you had at 32. You just feel a little bit slower, a little bit softer, and a little bit less sharp. And you just chalk that up to age, to stress, to being busy with your business, right? The mechanism underneath all of it is the same. You're losing muscle, and nobody told you what that actually costs you. So let me tell you, right? First, it's your metabolism. Muscle tissue is metabolically expensive, meaning your body burns calories just to maintain it, even at rest. The more muscle mass you carry on your body frame, the higher your resting metabolic rate. The less you carry, the slower your metabolism runs, the easier fat accumulates, and the harder it becomes to shift it no matter how clean that you eat. This is why guys who were lean at 32 are carrying stubborn body fat at 45 despite doing everything the same that they were doing years ago. The inputs didn't change, the muscle did. Second here is your energy and cognitive output, a big one, right? Muscle is the primary site where your body disposes glucose. More muscle means more efficient blood sugar regulation, stable energy throughout the day, fewer afternoon crashes, less dependence on caffeine just to stay functional. When muscle declines and insulin sensitivity drops with it, you get the exact opposite. Energy spikes and crashes, brain fog, afternoon walls that no amount of coffee can actually fix. Does this sound familiar so far, right? And the third one here is your brain. Muscle tissue produces compounds during contraction that travel directly to the brain and support neuroplasticity, memory, focus, and mood regulation, right? Your muscle is literally feeding your brain every time it contracts. The executive who is training and maintaining muscle tissue isn't just physically healthier, he is neurologically sharper, with faster decisions, clear processing, better recovery from high stress days. The fourth one here and the last one is your longevity. I've been saying it over and over again. Grip strength, lower body power, and overall muscle mass are among the strongest predictors of all-cause mortality that researchers have found. Not cholesterol, not BMI, muscle. The guys who are sharp, lean, and vital at 65 didn't get there by accident, right? They protected this asset while everyone else is just ignoring it. Now, here's where it matters most for you specifically. Okay, you're running a company, managing a team, making high stake decisions every single day, potentially traveling, carrying a stress load your body was never designed to handle chronically. That cortisol, that disrupted sleep, that irregular eating schedule, all of it accelerates muscle catabolism, muscle breakdown. Your lifestyle is already working against you, which means if you're not actively building and preserving muscle tissue, you're not losing it at 1% per year. You're losing it even faster than that, again, because of your lifestyle and schedule demands as a business owner. And every percentage point you lose is a direct hit to your metabolism, your insulin sensitivity, your cognitive output, your longevity. This shows up in how you feel at 2 in the afternoon. It shows up in how long it takes you to get sharp in the morning. It shows up in every performance marker that actually matters at your current operating level. So if you've been treating the gym like something you do when you have the time for it, right? Something you'll get more serious about it eventually when work slows down, when life gets less chaotic, I want you to rethink that completely. Stop training just to look good. Start training to perform. Start treating your body like the most important business asset you own, because that is exactly what it is. And when you do that, when longevity and output become the goal, the physique, like I said, always follows and comes along for the ride. This isn't just about aesthetics. It never was and never should have been. It's about protecting the system that determines how sharp you are, how long you last, and how well you perform for the next 20, 30, even 40 years from now.